in 1972, the armor started going under construction. A guy named Matt Thomas. And he, after the incident with the black belt female martial artist, I think you guys heard that story. Well, he started investigating these files. He also started putting together the first armor for a group of women from Stanford University, a course. And he decided to teach them real simple stuff, very different than the standard martial arts course. Well, after a few weeks of that, he decided to test them. And he put them through a test, and they still couldn't do anything. And he realized, well, you do as you train. He hadn't worn, they never hit anybody full force because they didn't have the armor. So he said, all right, I got to put him through a course again, an abbreviated version. Put the first suit on, there was a pillow over his groin, a bulletproof vest, and a hockey helmet. Well, he taught them again, and the first one that came out, palmed him in the face, went back, kneed him in the nuts, he dropped down, bang, kneed him in the face, and knocked him unconscious. So he came to and said, well, techniques work pretty well, but I need more fucking armor. And began the evolution of the armor. A few years later, about 4 or 5 years later, this engineer-type guy came in named Mark Morris, and he started to kind of work on the armor and built it up. Well, at one point in the evolution in the 80s, it suit got up to about 80 pounds, so we just need more fucking armor. So it got to be very, very cumbersome. It was way too heavy. Then they started to whittle it down. I got involved in 1988, and my first suit was like way more rudimentary than that one. We had another used for duct tape, but they had it down. And so anyway, long story short is that we've been using that armor. It was based on a football helmet platform that sat on your shoulder pads. The foam shell that went around the football helmet had to be carved for each particular person. Everybody's neck is different, everybody's shoulder is different. So it had to be carved so that it would fit up to the shoulder pads, so that when you took a shot, you wouldn't get the free articulation of the neck, but you would take it as a unit with your torso. So we got that fairly well down, but it was very restricted because each suit, only one person could wear a suit, wear one suit. Anyway, it was the best thing that existed out there. Nobody else really understood how the body armor works. People got Red Man suits. Red Man suits were made for police baton training to non-vital areas for liability reasons. In fact, they sent me a suit about put that thing on. I had my 8-year-old son kick me in the nuts, and I was get this thing off of me. In the box came a disclaimer saying this armor is made for contact hard enough to be felt, but not hard enough to be hurt. That ain't gonna help us. And no contact to the head. Still, the main thing is it allows for the free articulation of the neck. And there's no way you can allow full force strikes to the vital areas of the head, the neck, the groin, throat, etc. Except for the Bullman suit. So for years, I said, because I've trained more instructors in this stuff, and this type of armor for this type of training than anyone in the world. And I've already said, I will only use that armor until something better comes along. A couple years ago, this guy called me up, says, hey, I want to show you this armor. He showed up at my house and pulled this stuff out of his van. And I started looking at it. I said, holy shit, let me try that on. So he started giving me some shots, and going, I think you're really onto something here. And it was a very rudimentary, very, very old version, or a very rough version made in his garage. But this guy, he said, wow, I'm so glad to hear that, because I've already been to Century Martial Arts. They laughed me out of the office. Took it to pull it out, man. Took it to Rev Gear. They said, no, I don't want it. Macho, they said, no, because they didn't understand how armor, it wasn't flashy and all that stuff. It was just, the problem with this thing is that even though, thank you, buddy, we were able to arrest the free articulation of the neck with the cutting of the foam. This is made specifically for neck. The platform was a football helmet. So even with all this foam, you'd think it'd be like a marshmallow puff in there. Bullshit. You're hitting somebody full force, you're taking a knee, the force is still being transmitted into the brain because your head's locked into this football helmet. So you're still getting the transfer to the brain. So even in this thing, we always got white flashes. We'd have headaches. We'd have hangovers after the class. I had 7 concussions. I went through I think about 8 or 9 suits in my evolution. But it was the only thing there, and we loved it. Now what it took was an incredible amount of adrenaline for us to get so fired up when we fought someone full on that we didn't realize at the time. We got used to it, but it was really sapping our adrenal, this protective. But everybody loved to make fun of it. Oh, it's the Pillsbury Doughboy, it's the Michelin Man, blah, blah, blah. And it warranted. And the truth is though, anyone who ever experienced going up against the armor, they went, holy crap. I have yet have one person experience of fighting the armor who went, you know, oh, that's a bunch of shit, they can't see. I mean, we could move in this thing, we had mobility, the problem is we really hurt, we felt the strikes. They think you don't, because they haven't been in it. We sure as frickin' heck felt the strikes, obviously. So then Lyle came in, and so we, for the last 2 years, we've been prototyping it and working on it, refining it, refining it. This here, which one is mine? This is about a Mark 4 version. Mark 1 version is pretty scary. We got one in the garage, but it worked pretty well, but it wasn't pretty. This is a Mark 4, and it's still, this is handmade in Lyle's garage. This was all bolted together, you know, and he put this, you know, so it's very similar to what the new ones are, only the new ones are machine made, the forms are, and then he still lays the foam by hand, tapes it up by hand. So, you know, they're still, you know, they're still basically made by hand. We're playing with how to get to basically a one-size-fits-all, and that's where we're playing with different models, and we had to be able to, you know, hand make them to try out their prototypes. So this is still an official prototype. This is the suit I wear, and I freaking love this thing. And I guess.
It actually took me and Bill a little while to get in that suit.
We were the last ones to convince because we were so used to the old Bullet Man. Yeah. And we would train guys in like the Mark 1 and Mark 2, and they'd go, wow, this is freaking great. And we're going, well, I'm glad you like it because we're still not too sure about it. You know? But we're so used, it's just a different concept. We're so used to having our heads, you know, formed and tight in there that this was the idea is it's like a spacesuit. Your head floats in there, but it's fused to the torso, so you take no independent neck whiplash. Okay, but still, I mean, it was kind of, you know, these little pillow things were tapping us, and the guys, you know, all these new guys were saying, so what? It's a little pillow, but for us, it's like we weren't used to it.
So it was like we experimented for weeks trying to work out what we could put inside, so that shit wouldn't happen. We were almost trying to get back
helmets
inside helmet. And then we worked out that we were also missing the impact. But we were actually kind of so addicted to the shots, absolutely. Yeah. And we weren't getting it, and it was messing. And now, like I said, now we're into it. I won't put my Bullet Man suit on again. It's been in my garage ever since. Getting dusty in the bag.
So you actually thought something was wrong because you weren't feeling it.
Yeah, well, so it was disconcerting to us.
Yeah.
I was the last one to actually. Dick got his and took it back to the UK. I was the last one to convert, and I'm realizing now how much energy we had to use to gear up to be able to survive in the old suits. You know, and again, just because we were taking the impact. When you're adrenalized, you don't feel it, but you feel it afterwards. So that's the deal. So what we're finding out, we just did, you know, 9 classes in 5 days. Like we said, we had after each class, no hangover, no headaches, no sick feeling.
9 classes in 5 days, Nick.
And one class used to, you know, send us home freaking, you know, ibuprofen. At one point, I was soaking my head in ice. You know, it was a mess. You know, just to be able to be in it. So it's a whole new ball game. Now, you know, this thing ain't pretty, but I'll tell you, it works. Your guys is prettier, but you guys are, you know, we're going to continue to evolve the suit forever. But you guys are the first ones to get the first machine-made forms inside the suits. We got it standardized enough, and now these are the best suits that have been made in the evolution of this designer.
Underneath.
Yeah. Well, this is a big opening, so he put mesh in here, and then his take for that was now you got this. It comes out, and there's really no way you can get an arm in there. Yeah, we had guys reaching and choking us and shit. You know, had a foot get in there, and somebody's head gets stuck.
Yeah, seriously, what a small lady. She was, you know, her head was in there. Look what I got!
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's going to continue to evolve, but I mean, where we are in the evolution, this is it. You're in the Mark 6, you know, suits.